Hello, my name is not Barry Allen. 3 months ago, I did not go back in time and screw up my friends' lives and alter the course of history. My name is Tyler, and this is the Flashpoint podcast, part of the Legends of DC podcast on Southgate Media Network. And with me, as always, my trusty sidekicks of Phil Parrish.
Hey.
And Zachary Hare.
Who did not mess up the timeline, but not for lack of trying.
All right. So we are with Flash, Season 3, Episode 2, Paradox.
Should have been called Oops.
So let's... Oops, I did it again. Starring Barry Allen.
I played with your timeline, got lost in the Speed Force. Oh, Barry.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it helps that I know the song.
We started at the beginning. I did kind of like the fact that the episode started where he was explaining everything to Felicity.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Did anyone else expect him to show up and she was just going to go, who the hell are you?
I told you, I wanted goth Felicity.
Oh, you mean Avril Lavigne?
Yeah.
Felicity.
That would have been cool. That would have been interesting.
It's kind of, in my opinion, it's kind of a cop-out that the only, change that so far to the Hourverse is something they don't need to really ever address. In their show.
What? Diggle?
Yeah. They don't have to address it. Not really. It's not like a major character is gone or something. Oh, no. There's no longer a baby. The whole show is now messed up.
Yeah, well, maybe they just wanted to throw that in real quick, so if they did show the baby boy now, everyone wouldn't be like, wait, what? Wasn't that a girl? What?
And, the thing is, didn't Barry just create Connor from Legends? John Diggle Jr.?
Yep.
And the other thing is, I don't know who these people are or if they actually exist, but there may be somebody out there who watches Arrow and doesn't watch Flash. I don't know who these people are because I don't think they exist. But they can't do too much difference on Arrow for those few people who just watch Arrow.
Mm-hmm. Here's the question: do you tell Diggle that you gender swapped his baby, or just don't let him know?
Don't let him know because he doesn't have as much experience with time changes and all the stuff that goes on in the bigger universe of Team Flash, like it does for the others. At least Team Flash kind of get that. Team Arrow are we just punch people.
No.
I did like the scene when Barry takes down the motorcyclist, so that was very Flash.
You mean Thief? Thief.
I'm not calling him that.
Neither was Cisco.
He was like, Cisco names him, What are you talking about? I was like, no!
Again, can Barry start... Okay, the second Barry realized something was different, you think he would have checked things then. But no, he waits until he's with Felicity to check things.
Well, I think he was checking Team Arrow stuff.
Yeah, but he didn't check... he doesn't realize that, they're not... And he's so awkward about, hey, guys, you know that thing you don't want to talk about? What is that?
Oh, what, Joe and Iris?
Oh, God, it's so painful, and he's trying to make them talk. It's okay, trying to have the monopoly on being stupid and stupid.
Ugh.
Things are always going to be the same. They're always going to be fake. Nothing changes. Ha ha!
What I find interesting is there hasn't been anything where when Barry uses his speed, his memories aren't lining up with the new timeline.
Well, they kind of...
He's not...
in the other one, it took 3 months for that to even start.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here he's massively using his speed. We were kind of led to believe that in the other timeline he really wasn't ever using his speed.
Well, don't get me started on that because when he did that, he changed 15 years of history and no time wraiths showed up.
Yeah, the time race thing.
Gee, Deus Ex Machina much? They actually... it reminds me of something someone did with Doctor Who. It was really funny. Because, of course, with a long-running show, you're going to contradict things people have said in the past. And they have this. They showed one episode where he breaks a ton of rules about time, and someone interwoven it with clips from another episode where he says if you do this, they actually did have creatures that if you mess with time, they show up. And so it's like these creatures should have shown up in this episode, but they were never mentioned again. So it's the same thing, really.
But I mean, yeah, it's just so stupid. I mean, Zoom made all kinds of time remnants of himself, and the wraiths were all over him. Barry alters 15 years of history, and nobody even.
Here's another thing: the race for time. Is there no one that care? Apparently, there's no beings that care about breaking dimensional barriers. Oh God! And we can talk about Barry. Just I'm so glad it wasn't more than one episode, but still, he's taking forever to tell them. It's like he literally can go. I can understand him not telling them exactly what. Well, it's obviously guilt, but still, it's like he can literally go up to them. Hey, I did this. How do I fix it?
Well, it's really gonna bite him in the butt that he didn't tell them, and it's really gonna hurt when they find out. We got confirmed on Legends of Tomorrow this week, everyone. Spoilers: Reverse Flash is alive.
Well, okay, and this is something they've actually addressed and they've used in the comics many times. We have no idea what Flash reverse that is. I mean, it could be like he could be him before he even met the Flash. They could go that way even.
Well, I think they're going to do like they did in the Flashpoint miniseries. He's going to be like a paradox or whatever.
Yeah, it makes. Oh God, in my opinion, and this is something they did not address. I'm going to bring this up all the time. The fact that the Eobard Thawne that he brought back with him to the present is the one that became Harrison Wells. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but he's the one who made himself look like Harrison Wells, so he might be able to change his appearance back.
Wait, or is he not? Wait. Maybe
we don't know. Wrong. We don't know. They have to explain it because.
Well, which they're probably not. No. He's the. Oh God, okay. Moving on.
Just because remember, all I'm going to say about that is remember how they both faded away.
Well, the one that see if we start going into this, we could do a whole episode just on that one scene.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he could have just time traveled to some point and gave himself future knowledge.
So moving forward. You know how Barry has all these times where people are like, don't you remember this? Why doesn't he just blame it on the Speed Force? It's the speed. Sorry, the Force. My memories are catching up to me. I forgot. Because he keeps saying stupid stuff and people are looking at him like, are you okay?
Why didn't he just come clean with everyone who knows he's the Flash and say, hey, I just altered.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, how about, okay, here's one thing, though. They're really forcing the whole Barry doesn't have his memories of that timeline. Who the heck? I understand that it's in a gym, but when they're going to grief counseling, who the heck says I'm going to it's a lot of AA meetings are held in church. No one says when they're going to AA, I'm going to church. It was just because it was so obviously a plot device so they could have that awkward moment with Barry.
Yeah, maybe he didn't want to bring it up in front of Barry. Well, he didn't want to bring it up in front of Barry because that's a sore subject with him because he wants him to go back in time.
Okay, so I want to just so we get this is I like Alchemy's look. I'm curious to see where they're going to go with it, what his motivations are.
Yeah, that's a weird like the whole Jedi monk thing. But do we?
Did that mask cover his whole face?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, because I wasn't sure if he was just had weird skin or something. It's hard to tell if the shadow of his hood.
Well, I've watched it twice, and I was trying to figure out the part where Claire shows up. I was getting mad when Claire showed up just because I'm like, I don't want another evil speedster.
Well, I don't think we'll find out at the end of the episode. I don't think we got to worry about that.
Yeah, I don't either. But I was trying to see. It looked like there was more than one person.
Yeah, there was.
Alchemy. And I was like, oh, so there's a Dr. Alchemy cult. Maybe that goes back to like we talked about before when we thought the Speedster was going to be Salvatore with the cult idea. So that's cool. That I'm good. I have my own prediction about who Dr. Alchemy is.
Though. Well, let me guess, Julian.
No.
Oh, really?
I think it's Julio. I don't know what his character name is, but who was the captain in Flashpoint? Who was on the old Flash series? Yeah, it's him.
Well, I think Julian's gonna be like he either is alchemy or it's a red. He's gonna be. They're gonna they're gonna pretend that, like red herring him. You know.
Yeah, I wonder if he's a red herring because his name's Julian Albert, and in the comics, Albert Desmond was Dr. Alchemy. So yeah, It seems too convenient.
Kind of like
it seems too
Eddie
easy.
Thawne.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
And
like
he-
how Barry every time he kisses Iris, he erases it from time.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, I guess he just really likes that first kiss sensation.
So, you know what's funny about that is like, and I this could actually be a good joke whenever the stuff gets fixed. It's like, oh, do you remember our first kiss? Yes, of course we were. And they're like, and you're like, no, that's not where it was. Oh yeah, it was. No, that's not. Like he remember. He has 3 different memories of first kisses.
Which one?
Does that count as cheating?
Hey, what did everyone think of Jay Garrick?
I really liked that scene where the way he explained it using the coffee cup.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, and I like the
idea
scene. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying I just really liked that because it was like a simple analogy.
Makes
without
sense.
being super scientific compared to some of the other ones they try to explain stuff, and it just made a lot of sense of how things just
And did
you can
anyone,
never completely course correct it.
anyone else want to smack Barry during that scene? It's like he's rolling his eyes when Jay Garrick is trying to explain things to him. It's like, dude, you screwed up everyone's life. Sit down and shut up.
Yeah, when he was gonna run back in time again, and when Jay Garrick's hand came
What
into
would
this,
he even do? He
I
doesn't
don't
know why the time. Okay, although as much as I like the scene with Garrick, one thing that didn't. Okay, so apparently, one, Jay Garrick can monitor Barry across dimensions. 2, he can just pluck Barry out when he's running through the Speed Force, even though he's running through time, not running across dimensions. And 3, apparently, Jay Garrick can, and Barry can bust through dimension because Barry goes right back to Earth 1.
Well, I think whether they travel through dimensions or time, I think they have to go into the Speed Force to access any of that. So, but yeah,
the speed. What was it? They explained the Speed Force is kind of like a back door like once you enter it, like it just connects everything. So Jay can be running in the Speed Force at one point and Barry at another, and they have access to each other.
Well, he said he was keeping
Even
an
though-
eye. He said he was keeping an eye on him.
How?
So, well, he said he was monitoring Barry. I don't know how, but maybe when he saw
The
him enter the
Speed Force.
Yeah, when he entered the Speed Force, maybe he jumped in after him and then pulled him out.
He sensed it in the Speed Force.
So, all right,
There was a disturbance in the Speed Force.
Oh,
I wasn't clear on. I wasn't clear on this. Were they on?
Barry is a disturbance in the Speed Force.
Were they on Earth 3 or were they in the past?
I think they were Earth 3.
They were on
That's how I
Dawson.
took
They were on Dawson's Creek.
Oh, did everyone catch that Easter egg? Dawson
I
on
laughed.
the TV.
I laughed when I saw that.
I think it was Earth 3 because obviously Jay knew it. Because as we know, they're probably going to establish the more distance you get away from Earth Prime, it's not like synced up.
Yeah, but he said something about the 90s, so I wasn't sure if it was the past or Earth 3 or the
Well,
past.
that's what I
of
think.
Earth 3.
That's what I think. I think it was Earth 3. They're just not. It's not a synced up timeline.
See, Earth 3 would be better because it would be kind of hypocritical of him of talking to Barry about altering the timeline if they're in the past.
Oh, and can we talk about Barry going back and forth between the newspaper and the station? That was so
that was
stupid.
That was so Superman. That was so Superman 4.
I mean, like, no one's gonna notice him suddenly appearing out of nowhere multiple times in a row.
Well, just the gust of wind.
That's how fast he is.
No,
Yeah,
I can
that's what I was
believe.
thinking. Like,
I can buy that no one see. Like, you look because of course that's how. It's like him grabbing the evidence. I can believe no one sees him do that.
Yeah.
But if you keep coming back and forth, you are still leaving and coming back. It's not in splits. It's fast, but he's still stopping to talk. That's enough time for someone to notice.
Yeah, and the big gusts of wind every time.
And the lightning.
unless you want to get crazy, and he just basically does many time travel each time, so that he's actually never gone.
Right. It's a time remnant.
Headache.
Can we talk about the rival suit? Am I the only one that thinks it looks ridiculous?
Oh,
the mask. I should say. The rest of it doesn't look too bad. The mask.
Yeah, the mask, I thought he looked like an evil Birdman, and I was talking to Lilith yesterday. She had the best analogy. She goes, yeah, he looks like evil Hawkman.
No, there's actually a mask that if I can find a shot of it, I'll send it. I'll put it on the Facebook because it looked familiar to me. Mm-hmm. There's an old stop motion Christmas special. I swear to God, there's a character whose face reminds me of him. I'll see if I can get it. But I mean, it doesn't look exactly like it, obviously, but just. Oh, and there's something weird about the way you can tell that thing is restricting his nose by the way he moves his head and talks.
Oh, yeah. It's completely covering his nose. Like, it's giving him that, I can't breathe through my nose voice. I will say this.
Rival, Flash.
I look at the suit. It reminds me kind of a motorcycle jacket. Mm-hmm. Like he's riding a motorcycle. And
I looked it up.
I like it for the fact that
it's rival.
I like that it looks different. You know, just because it breaks the mold of like how Zoom, Reverse Flash, and Flash suits all look the same, just slightly different.
Right.
But the mask is awkward. I mean, I respect it for being different, but it is kind of awkward. It doesn't look like it'd be very, like we said before. It looks kind of like Salvatore-ish. It just doesn't look very dynamic. So I don't know. Like if we don't get more of him, I'll let it go. But if they try to do something more with him,
I don't think any more of him. Now, what's interesting about Claris, and they mentioned this here, and we've gotten shades of this in Legends of Tomorrow, and with probably Alchemy, we're finally getting evidence that there are other metas besides the. Actually, that could be another interesting, because in Flashpoint, the comic, what he didn't just affect events from his mother's death on; it affected the past too. Mm-hmm. So maybe like that could be a factor. That could be how they introduce, because as we know, again, Legends more than this, but we see metahumans from other sources.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they played around with it, before this season, but yeah, I'm thinking Flashpoint is also a big catalyst. There's another mistake he's gonna regret is he created a lot more metahumans, which means he created a lot more villains.
I'm hoping it means he created more heroes too.
Oh yeah, he probably
did.
Yeah,
for some reason. Yeah, for some reason, the effects always cause more villains to be created than heroes.
When are we gonna get a team? I want to see some teams. I'm sick of just heroes with support systems.
I saw, I think it was Charles Skaggs on Twitter during the live tweet. He says, "Don't you miss the days when Barry could defeat people on his own?"
You're kidding.
Yeah. Before everybody needed a whole support team, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you don't do that, then everyone's like, "Oh, why is this supporting cast here?"
One thing I was thinking while I was watching the episode, and they did address it, and that made me happy, is no one is questioning Barry's motivations, because none of us know. Like you got, I mean, of course I got families, but you guys got kids and wives. I mean, if they,
mm-hmm.
I don't. Oh, there we go. Knock on wood. Anything happened. If we could go back and change it, could any of us say we wouldn't at least try?
Yeah, but I mean, he's been through this how many times already?
True. Yeah, but so I'm just saying we understand the motivation, but still, It's like, he's still being so stupid about it.
Yeah, but I mean, Cisco questioned him because Cisco's like, well, why can you go back in time and try to save your family, but not mine?
Now, it looks like what Alchemy. By the way, I like how Alchemy hits him once. It's like, okay, this is that I've done my part, and just that's it.
Well, unless he's like doing like an apocalypse thing from Marvel, where it's a survival of the fittest. It was like a test of the rival, where he's like, okay, Flash is down, show me what you got.
Could be interesting. But it looks like he's using the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've been reading up on it. I don't think they've ever given this Philosopher's Stone like a definitive origin.
Oh, in the comics, really?
I don't think.
Well, they don't really need, because it's an actual thing from Legend. Like it's it's a legend in the real world. So actually that's what was supposed to be it's in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But for some stupid reason, they changed it to Sorcerer's Stone because they thought American audience wouldn't know the legend. As we all know, geeks don't know that stuff. Now, there's one thing I want to talk, and that's one of the reasons why I mentioned Barry's motivations. I did not like the scene when Iris was defending Barry, because now I did like that when they realize it's a changed thing, they do work to move past differences. I like that. What I didn't like is she's like, "Oh, Cisco, you made your mistakes. We've all made mistakes." I'd be sitting there going, "Yeah, I've never gotten anyone killed or changed the fabric of time and space, so I think I'm okay."
Yeah, but I think her point was more like, it's done. No matter what happens, we can't change it back. So we have to get over it, because otherwise we're just going to be angry at him, angry at each other, and nothing's going to change. Life is going to be horrible. So the only way it's going to get better is if we try to get past this.
Because think about every other time that Barry went back and changed time, it was always more positive. I mean, the first time was only for a day, and it saved Cisco and Joe. Then everyone on Team Flash and Arrow died, and Barry saved them.
The whole city died.
Yeah, so this time Barry went to just save his parents, and
they're back for selfish reasons.
And now here's a quick thought. I thought of this. Do you remember the pilot when Barry shows up at the first crime scene, and they do all the cool showing how his brain works? And drawing all the figures, the numbers as he's measuring and looking at everything. It was more CSI.
Yeah, I remember that's the pilot.
I kind of miss that, especially now with 2 CSIs. I'm like, because that would be a cool way to show Julian being really smart and just showing something. And I don't know. I just kind of miss that where Barry's job actually mattered.
Yeah, they're really. Well, I think they've made that mistake in the comics sometimes too. Sometimes they just make him straight up hero. They don't address the fact that he's actually a CSI, so he's brilliant. So,
well, yeah, that's the trap they all get into. Even like Batman in the movies is anytime these guys have detective skills or actual knowledge of something, it gets
really the only
downplayed.
That got that right, the detective aspect, was the animated series, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, no live action ever did. No.
Anybody else want to take a vacation with Team Flash?
Wally does.
Anybody? They're doing that now? Vacays? Everybody sign up for vacation. But I think the biggest thing with this episode is the slap in the face to Barry when he realizes everything that he's lost. He took everything for so much for granted. He thought about his parents. And I'm not saying he was wrong for thinking about him, but now he sees what his actions, the ramifications across everybody.
Well, yeah, I mean,
just the little things that he's lost.
Well, not even the little things, but just he killed his best friend's brother,
Dante.
Yeah.
And I thought it was weird when he made. I understand Caitlin's the only one whose timeline wasn't tragic, but it's he was still making a joke. It's I want someone to go, "Too soon, Barry. Too soon."
Oh, but what about Caitlin? She's changed.
Oh yeah. Well, do we think that's Alchemy doing that to her? That she's one of the people he's changed. I wonder. I'm curious to see how he's, because obviously he's somehow bringing powers from not just other timelines, from the other Earths. So I'm curious to see what he's doing, how he's doing it, how he knows in the first place.
Maybe he doesn't have to know. Maybe the Philosopher's the Philosopher's Stone. Maybe it just activates metagenes or whatever, and if anywhere Caitlin has a metagene, she's going to become Killer Frost.
Yeah, but it looks like he knew, because he knew about Clarice, so he has some knowledge of the alternate stuff.
See, I was thinking about that too. So does that mean
here's an idea?
Is Alchemy from the Flashpoint timeline?
Here's my thought. The episode is entitled Paradox. What if Alchemy is the paradox? Because instead of the Flash is screwing things up, basically Dr. Alchemy was created as a way to combat the Flash. He has the knowledge, maybe because of the stone, about the other timelines and everything and the people. Because that brings me to, they talk about, Alchemy's going after people from Flashpoint. Wouldn't Barry have been okay, Wally, we need to talk right now?
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Not let's wait till it happens. No, but Wally, you need to know something.
Well, I figured it out, the Huss thing, a little before they said it. So I'm okay, so Alchemy somehow taking people from the alternate timelines. So it's curious to see what his origins. I hope we don't have to wait the whole season to find out what he is.
I mean, it was interesting when he said, "I'm preparing this world."
Mm-hmm.
Is that tied to, I don't know, season finale of Crisis?
Who knows? Now, here's a big thing we should talk about. Do we think this is going to get rewritten in any way?
What, the timeline?
Is it going to get fixed again? Because I just don't. I find it weird that they would just kill. Like, Dante's dead and a few other things are. I guess that's the only major change, really. But, I hate to think that they got rid of. I understand it's not a big. I don't know. I like Diggle's not having Sarah anymore. That kind of thing.
Well, I want to know more about. He has a kid. The kid looked older than Sarah. Did Diggle who's Diggle's wife?
Yeah, too. Yeah. Well, it could be that he never divorced Lila.
Yeah.
That they stayed married or something. Now, does the age can we match up with Connor that we met? Would you say?
Well, how old do we think Connor was in 2046? Because that's the
oldest I would say is mid-20s, and that's oldest. What was the year they went to?
2046.
No, that's too young.
That was 30 years. Yeah, 30 years from now.
He was like 20 at the most, right?
I'd say 20s. Yeah.
So maybe they could. Yeah, I think that's pushing it. Well, how old was the kid?
A year, at least. At least within the first year.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to tell, but it's one of those things. I don't know. But I don't know. I had mixed feelings about this episode. I mean, it all depends where they go with this alternate timeline, and if the alternate timeline is. And here's the thing: if they keep alternate timeline, there's no depth to the show because we have no idea what's going to change or what's going to. We don't know whether or not we can get invested in the characters we meet.
Yeah. Well, next episode is going to be really interesting because you don't see the previews, right, Zach?
No.
Harry and Jesse are coming back, so
I figured that was happening.
Well, I wonder what does this affect Earth 2? What do they remember? Do they remember the original timeline, or do they remember this timeline?
Yeah, we talked about that last season. So we'll have to find out.
And did anybody else, when Alchemy was talking, did he sound like Jigsaw from Saw?
Well, yeah, I think that's the guy who's doing the voice. I think.
Yeah.
I was like, is he going to ask Barry to play a game? That's what I kept wondering.
Yeah. I think I remember seeing that that was it. Tobin Bell. He's doing the voice.
Yes.
Just like,
and I'm with Zach on the fact that the slight alterations, I understand if they just do slight little things, but at the same time, it's like Cisco. The past 2 episodes, we haven't really got Cisco. It's been a different Cisco than what we liked from the other seasons, so that makes it difficult.
Hey,
because it's like, wow, it's not the same character.
Dante from Earth 2 had powers, so what if he's not really dead? What if Alchemy kidnapped him and he faked his death or something like that? You know?
Yeah. But hey, what do we think about Cisco being out in the field more?
Well, we've been waiting for that forever.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I want to see a suit because Vibe's outfit was already so crazy. It was so 80s. It was so 80s.
Yeah, but it's not like that yellow suit he actually had in the 80s.
No, I'm thinking of the one with electricity, like the jagged looking one with it was like a V.
Yeah, hey.
See, I was worried for
I have the comic right here. Yeah.
I was worried for a while that maybe Cisco wasn't Vibe. Like that was until just because no one had mentioned anything or acted. Oh, that's sweet, Phil. Until that happened, then I was like, awesome. So I was glad he still has his vibe powers because that would have sucked. And it makes me wonder, will Cisco start getting vibes about the alternate timeline?
Yeah, exactly. And more importantly, will the new CSI get Flash to join House Slytherin?
I was thinking he was going to be like, Barry, you're such a Griffin dork.
Nope.
Of course, they bring him in when there's some talk about the Philosopher's Stone.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, hey, we're gonna use Dr. Alchemy and the Philosopher's Stone. You know what'd be awesome? Let's get someone from Harry Potter.
That would be funny if he missed because he's like, oh, it's like the Sorcerer's Stone. You mean the Philosopher's Stone? Whatever.
Yeah, Barry's like, I always read it as the Sorcerer's Stone. Americans.
Yeah, that would be so awesome. I guess we'll just have to see how. I mean, I'm worried because they're gonna again. We know there's gonna be a 4-show crossover.
Mm-hmm.
That's if they can make that work, right?
Aliens.
Magic. I want more magic. Because so many good. They keep talking about the Justice League Dark characters, teasing us.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know how much magic we're getting this season because I know Arrow they're kind of trying to stay away from that even though they have Ragman.
Well, we'll have to see. It depends. Well, again, the Philosopher's Stone's always been a mix of magic inside, so we'll just have to see. So, I think we've mostly covered everything. So I have mixed feelings about this episode. Some parts, know what it is? I'm not liking Barry this season because he's just not working.
Yeah, everything so far has been from him making selfish decisions, and it's like, yeah, why should we be on Barry's side? I mean, he's a sympathetic figure, but it's like you keep making that same stupid decision. He's been back to that night of his mom's murder how many times?
I really think they made decisions early on that they didn't plan on how to address, and it's like they have different teams every season, and the next season they're like, good luck, guys.
Yeah, it would seem like that, but
one up this suckers.
No. And then what is it? The 7th episode this season? I think it's the 7th. Kevin Smith's directing another episode.
Yep, and this time it actually involves action and not just people talking.
Yeah, and is it the name of the episode Killer Frost?
I think so.
They better not make her a villain. I swear to God, I hate easy villains transitions.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the team would hate Barry. Really hate Barry then.
Barry's like, guys, it's not my fault. Yes, it is, Barry. Okay, guys, you're right.
Oh.
My bad.
So is there anything else on this episode?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. I just I think, this is my favorite. Well, it was my favorite show. That's a whole nother debate. But so far, I like this season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I enjoy it, but I'm not as thrilled about things because it's awkward right now, and especially just the way Barry's been. Like Zach was saying, he just kind of. I mean, he got back, realized things were different, but then he didn't take the moment to step back and be like, "Hey, what else changed?" Because he keeps saying stuff and trying to accept things like they were before. He doesn't seem very guarded or like he needs to be walking on eggshells when he starts talking about stuff.
Guys, quick trivia. I'm looking at the IMDb. Did you know that John Wesley Shipp was Dawson's dad on The Creek?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's why it was hilarious.
I never watched the show. So
I watched it like once or twice. All I remember is I was homesick and the reruns were on TBS. And I couldn't find the remote, so I just laid there and watched it.
I've watched soap operas for the same reason when I was suspended. But yeah, I'm with you all the way with what you're saying. I gotta admit, the show I'm most excited about so far is Legends for different reasons. Flash, I'm feeling so benign, and I usually enjoy it for the most part. So it all depends where they go with Flashpoint. That's going to be the deciding factor for me.
And I agree. And I feel like I got to think about this. I feel like Flashpoint was kind of like comparing it to Marvel, like Civil War, where it was just kind of the title used. Mm-hmm. It really wasn't as much the story and the idea. It was just kind of a big name to throw out there.
That was so forced. It's like, that's what it's called apparently. It's like, no, that's what Reverse Flash came up with as a joke. You have no obligation to call it that.
Yeah, but it just makes it easier for them to keep calling it.
I know.
Yeah,
when you think about what Flashpoint was in the comics and then how they kind of really boiled it down, and like this really could have been a huge event. I think that's kind of where the fallout for me still is I feel kind of, I didn't want it to go on for a long period of time, but just a one episode really quick off of such a big story that has so much ramifications for the universe.
Listen, what I'm saying. I mean, what are the ramifications of it? Where are they going to go?
I think one that we haven't talked about that I just have is going to be Captain Cold's not dead, but maybe not. I'm not sure because Legends this time is so weird, but
Well,
we know
yeah.
he's going to show up again.
I mean, between Flashpoint and like that whole, that was the whole Time Masters time thing that he, died in last season. So yeah, there's all kinds of funky time things around him. So.
Well, yeah, because he died out of time, so
Yeah.
they could do whatever they wanted with it. But I think the deciding factor will be where they go with Flashpoint.
I agree.
Yes. All right, let's get out of here. You could send us your thoughts. Dante, where are you? Did the timeline erase you? Please tell us no. On Facebook, we're the Flashpoint Podcast. On Twitter, we're at Flashpoint_SMG. You can also follow the whole podcast, all 4 of our shows at Legends of DC Podcast on Facebook, and on Twitter, we're at Legends of DC Pod. The email is still the same, flasharrowpodcast@gmail.com. And remember, check out our other shows on this podcast feed. Krypton Report with Tyler and his wife Jania, Queen Consolidated with me and Lilith Hellfire, and the Podcast of Tomorrow with Zach and Charlie Esser. And where can people find you, gentlemen?
Well, like you said, on Krypton Report, and you can find me at JTY Patrick on Twitter, and then very much at JTY Patrick on anything.
And me, you can always find me on Facebook, Zachary here, Twitter, from Insanity. But also, special announcement: anyone who's going to be in the Massachusetts area on the weekend of October 22nd will find me at Super Mega Fest in Marlborough, Massachusetts, the best big small con, I should say, in Massachusetts. I've invited as a special cosplay guest, and there's going to be cosplayers, celebrity guests. In fact, connected to Flash, Tony Todd will be there. Connected to Gotham, Little Bruce will be there. Celebrities abound. So anyone who's in that area, come check us out. It's a great con.
Cool. All right. Tyler, you want to take us out?
I don't know what to say. All I know is I should run.
You want me to just do my usual?
Sure.
Run.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's how watching this episode made me feel, to run away. All our fans, well, we'll see what happens. We're going to keep along through Ventus. Stay tuned, because we'll be back in a flash before you know it.
It's fun for all ages at Super Mega Fest Comic Con. 3 full days of exhibits, collectibles, trivia, magicians, and a costume contest. Meet top celebrities from movies, TV, and comic artists. October 21st through 23rd at the Royal Plaza Trade Center in Marlborough. Buy tickets now at supermegafest.com.